In this video, I'm going to show you how to convert units with a method called dimensional analysis. This method is based upon the fact that any number multiplied by 1 won't change its value, so that'll make more sense after we do a few problems. Let's look at the first one. How many centimeters are in 6 inches? Well, the first thing you have to do when you run into a problem like this is you have to find what the relationship between these two values is. And if you do a quick search on Google or something, you'll find out that 2.5 centimeters are in 1 inch. So you're going to take this right here and create a fraction out of it, like this. 2.54 centimeters are in 1 inch. Now here's the thing to remember. This fraction is equivalent to 1 because these are both the same. 2.5 centimeters and 1 inch are the same thing. Okay, so this is equivalent to 1, and we're going to take our given value and multiply it by this fraction. So we're going to go 6 inches. It's 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. And here's how this is going to work. This is basically the same thing as multiplying 6 inches by 1. It's not going to change the 6 inches. It's just going to allow us to convert the inches to centimeters. Okay? And here's how it does that. So we have 6 inches here. We could just write that as 6 inches over 1. So now we have two fractions we're working with. And when we multiply these two together, you're going to see that the inches cancel out, which will leave our answer in centimeters. And if you multiply 6 by 2.54, you're going to come up with, let's see here, what did I get? 15.24. 15.24 centimeters. That's your answer. 6 inches, there's 15.24 centimeters in 6 inches. Okay, let's look at this problem. How many inches are in 140 centimeters? Well, let's start by taking our given 140 centimeters and writing that right here. And let's remember the relationship between inches and centimeters that we determined in the last problem. And that was 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. So this problem is going to be a little different. We're going to multiply this 140 centimeters by 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. In this problem, the 2.54 centimeters is going to be on the bottom because we have to cancel out the centimeters to find inches in this problem. And once again, you can put a 1 under here if it helps you understand the process a little better, that we're kind of multiplying two fractions. So our final answer is going to be in inches because the centimeters are going to cancel out. And if you take 140 centimeters and divide it by 2.54, you will get 55.1. If we're just rounding to one decimal place, that's all I'm going to do here. So your answer is 55.1 inches are in 140 centimeters. Let's look at another problem. So let's look at another problem here, and this one's going to be a little bit more complicated just because it's going to involve an additional step. So the question is, how many centimeters are in 2.5 feet? Well, first let's break it down. The best way to do this would probably be to convert feet into inches and then inches into centimeters. So feet into inches and then inches into centimeters. So let's take our given 2.5 feet, and we need to find a relationship between feet and inches. Well, you can look it up if you don't already know, but there's 12 inches in a foot. So 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. So let's take this relationship and turn it into a fraction that will multiply our given by. So 12 inches over 1 foot. We put foots on the bottom because that's what we're trying to cancel out. And then here's our additional step. We then want to convert inches into centimeters. So you'll remember that 2.54 centimeters is equivalent to 1 inch. So we're going to put our centimeters on top because that's what we're trying to find, and our 1 inch on bottom because that's what we're trying to cancel out. So when we do this here, these feet will cancel out and these inches will cancel out, which will leave us with centimeters for our final answer. So if you multiply 2.5 times 12 times 2.54, you're going to get 76.2, and we're left with just centimeters for our units. So there are 76.2 centimeters in 2.5 feet. Any questions? Comment below.